Hello and welcome back to iPio's programming channel. My friend just wrote me and she, let me get rid of all of this. She wrote like what she's doing. Okay. All right. Oh God. Okay. So they're doing, okay, so they kind of go input, computation, output. Let's go. How do you read something from the console in C#? I never do that. Console read line, I guess. Read line reads the next line of characters from the standard input stream. That sounds good. And like, what's your return value? String? Yeah, string. And you can also see in the documentation. Where is this documentation? Oh, yeah. That's fair. I need to give it a name. Like you can see what it can throw. It can throw an IO exception, out of memory exception, an argument out of range exception. How does that happen? See, I'm confused by that because readline doesn't take arguments right here. This is how an empty argument list looks like, and there is no argument that could be out of range. So I don't know why it would want to throw it. I guess something in its bowels can throw it, and it's just not catching and handling it. So that's why it's allowing it to go up. You don't need to be concerned. So we get the string. Let's get string 1. Actually, let's tell our users that we need 2 strings. Let's do that first. We are our own user, but still, let's have some user experience here. Write line. Can I have 2 numbers, please? Okay. So string 1, string 2. Now these are strings, so we need to transfer them into numbers, and we want integers for that. So getting from a string to a number is called parsing. So let's go. Integer a is equal integer.parse string 2, string 1, string 1. And this is number 1, and we can do the same for number 2. I don't like parse, and we won't do it like that. Just wanted to show it to you because you can see that there's all sorts of exceptions. So we need to now only get a try catch block and then handle the exceptions. What we could do instead is integer try parse, and the try functions, that the one that start with try, give you a bool back. Try parse, and then you give it the string, like string 1, and you go, you want out, and you give it the name number 1, for example. Number 1, and now it says that number 1 doesn't exist. So the way you used to do that is integer number 1. Just add it here, and then it can write into that because it needs the memory. But what it can actually do is put the assignment in here. Okay. And you actually don't even do that because there's a thing called type inference, and the try parse needs an integer argument, so you don't need to give it the idea of an integer. You can just go var. And this one, the compiler, this isn't saying this number can be anything. This is saying compiler, figure out the exact type this has to be. There's a huge difference between the two things. If it could be anything like the variadic types of Visual Basic, for example, that's really dumb. But if it can be exactly one thing, that's cool. So that's the difference. The one is dumb, the other is cool. And we do the same for string 2, and then we just bool is okay is that one, and then we use Boolean logic. Boolean logic. So if we want both to be okay, so that's an assignment. We should do operators at some point. I'm this one. So essentially, you have a second bool is okay too, and you go equal that, and then you make a third bool is okay 3, and you go is okay. Let's go for is okay 1. Is okay 1, and combine that with is okay 2. Is okay 2, and the way I want you to combine it is to. Do I need to bool? That's yeah. And the one end symbol is binary. It's a binary operation. You want to use 2. The same goes for the OR operation. I was on 1 because I wrote and equals, and then it's 1. I always use and equals. So yeah. So now we assign this to here, right? And this. Now we have a third one. We could instead, so if we want to reassign, we can go is okay. Yeah, so we can reassign is okay 2 in the same moment that we do that. So we can go is okay 2 and assign the result of that, because it's not writing to is okay 2 while it's evaluating the thing on the right side of the equal sign. So it's evaluating the right sign, and when it's done evaluating that, then it writes in here. This isn't math, this is programming. So there are steps to it. So there's a sequence that it follows, and it's guaranteed to follow that sequence. Now, because we wrote is okay twice here, we're saying take that value, do the AND operation with the other, and then assign. And it has its own operator. It is AND equals, and this is the same. This does the same. It says take the value of this, go AND on it with the other value, and then assign it back to that value. So that's why this is working. Now, is okay 2 is kind of only the result of this. So, and we want it to end up here. So we can just go is okay 1, because is okay 1 has the result, and we're going to go AND into the other result. So we're trying to parse this. We're still in parsing. And now if not is okay. So if it's not okay, it's just not okay. We end the program with an error, and we write console.writeLine something useful like so right, we're doing that, and that's all we're doing. So for now, so this is has 2 numbers, 23, 44, nifty dandy. Can have 2 numbers. Okay, actually, why didn't I enter the second value? Just hit enter twice. Okay, so this is the input part. If you go Control R and M, it's refactor method. So it's refactor, make this into a method. Not all okay, right. Yeah. So let's go bool has number equals true. Let's not refactor. Let's not make this pretty. Let's just add comments. This is not pretty, and this is not how programming works. But let's just add input up here. So that's our input. Then we go process. And our process is just adding number 1 plus number 2 plus number 2, and this is num, or this is result. Adding two integers results in an integer. So this is of type integer. It's way more easy to tell the compiler, just figure it out. Just I don't even care. Just figure it out. Because if you now change things to double, you don't. That actually eliminates an error source. Because we already stated that these other types are integer. Why should we state that again here? That now it's integer. Because if we change these to double, we don't need to change the var output to double. We can just, this program can easily be adapted to be a program working on double variables without changing any of these var things. So that's why using var is cool. Process, and then we go output. And this is console.writeLine. And what I'm not doing is string interpolation, because I don't know which compiler you're on. But this would be right now, as of this recording, would be the result. This would be the right way to do that. Result. Let me show you the wrong way to do that. And that's this. And we're going to do the wrong way, because what this does is it creates a copy of string right here, makes a string, then it makes this into a string, so that's 2 strings, then it adds the 2 strings to create a third string, which is actually using, so it's 3 strings. It's just creating 3 strings for no apparent reason. And that's because how string works in C#. It's not as critical if you just write it like that, if you know the number of strings, but if you have an unknown number of strings and just add them in one after another, like in a loop, then this would be the most hard thing you could do to it. And then the string interpolation would also not be correct, but then better ways to do that. Now we have input, process, output. This is very straightforward, 5, 4, 9. And yeah, so that's kind of the first page of the document that she gave me. This is ugly as hell. These documents are not good. But this is what she has to learn. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you get data, you create data, you output data. And this is very close to being a microservice now that I look at it. You can think of this like the bus, where information is coming, processes, and you spit it back out on the bus. And it's literally, those are streams, like input stream, output stream, those are streams. That's very modern, having a microservice. Okay. Okay, so next up would be, well, systems. Well, number systems. We can do that. We'll do that next. Thanks for watching. See you next time.